Dad goes down, the whole team goes down.
Oh, Mom.
Ricky's here.
All that.
She's walking toward us.
I see that.
She wants to say something.
Okay, just stop narrating reality.
Well, I think that was beautifully directed by Michael Waldron. That was his first episode to direct, and I mean he's just he's one of my best friends, but also like one of the just most talented people I know. And that was when you're building to a moment like that in a series, we all know it's like a lot of movies, you sort of like, I always kind of look at like, whether it's a movie or show, you sort of like, there are certain columns that have to hold up everything, right? And you kind of build to certain moments. And that was one of those that, we're all aware that has to hit. And it's not an easy thing to do. The blocking within the bus is really tough, but also just the nature of, creating this relationship and the complicated nature of someone that you loved, that you're kind of like, you're realizing that someone's not real, and the betrayal that goes along with this, and this person almost killed your dad, but also is like a person that like put new hope into your heart. So it was like a lot coming crashing down in one moment, and also what that means going forward, and you get to see like it was a hotly debated scene that we talked about, sort of likability and what an audience would be down with, because there's some kind of crazy, sinister things. But I think like when you look at Perry Matfeld, who's like one of the most extraordinary actors, not only just a genuine human being, but puts up a performance in this movie in the show that is
she's brilliant,
really tough. And the order that we had to give her on this one, when she auditioned for this, I mean, I remember Waldron and I was like, oh my God, thank God, because she's an authentic coach, but also she has every gear at her disposal, and you really see it at play in that scene. Not only is she really funny and really understands like how an audience is going to digest this story, but really turned on the gas on that scene, that you see the vulnerability and the hurt. No, I'm just so proud, when you get to face off with actors like that, there's no greater gift. It's the best.
I think certainly. I think that threat isn't just him, because he's gone on by this point in the show, he's gone on a journey of at least partial redemption. And I think the tragedy of that moment for Russ is that he's just gone to his dad, and by being Chad, he's able to do the thing he could never do before. He says, I'm sorry. And he takes accountability, and his dad says, I forgive you. And he makes him believe that maybe Ricky will forgive him too. And so that is the tragedy of it, that he goes and he owns up to it, and he says, I'm sorry. And it's really beautifully scored by Natalie Holt, our composer, because we wanted to feel like, are we going to get the kiss? I want the kiss. Every time I watch it now, I'm like, kiss, come on. But then, Perry makes that turn, and it's so vicious, and Glenn, everything he does on the receiving end of it, in some ways not even saying anything, just absorbing it. It was a really special day. Two of the finest actors you'll ever see working at the top of their game.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question. I haven't read that script yet. But, well, it's kind of true.
Yeah.
You get what you're handed, and you're like, all right, I got to make this work.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good question though, and I think his love for his daughter is just so deep, and they're so connected, and they obviously have a really good relationship, and he's so proud of her. I think that would be the hard part. But she's protecting her dad. It's about the team, it's about football, but it's about her dad too. And obviously he has issues with his wife, he has health, all that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff, man. Which is really kind of amazing about this show. I mean, on one side you got prosthetics and it's insane. It's ridiculous. And then on the other side you have this stuff that's like it's layered, man. And I'm so proud of how there are moments where you go, oh, which is pretty bold.
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm proud of is that every single character, we wanted to make sure that everybody felt three-dimensional, and then when you find great actors to play all these characters, they infuse it with their own life and their own research and their own thoughts, and it comes alive in a way that like it's just the level of satisfaction I think for like not only me, I'm like just. Again, it's just the greatest way to show up to set, but also for an audience to watch how people are reacting to it. It's really amazing.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I was glad I was directing that one with those guys, and we had a script that we felt really good about that our worked on with our writing staff, and so we found because the bus is such a narrow space, it was appealing to me that we could sort of like suddenly stage a little play right on the perimeter of this outrageously loud stadium. And what I really liked was this feeling of almost trapping them inside this airlock where they've got to have it out. And so we taped out the length of the bus in the parking lot and, rehearsed it ahead of time, walking it through, but I wanted to make sure that they were really saving the performance for the day because there was so much loaded up there. And then it was a lot of planning with my DP, Mark Schwartzbard, of just how to get cameras into these very tight spaces and, can we remove a TV and everything and just really how can we get out of the way and let these actors act.
I think for that's a great question, but I think for Ricky, like there's such a buildup. I mean, she's been kind of stiff in the beginning and almost shy in the beginning and trying to pick and choose when she speaks up, and then I think it all blows up. I mean, I think it's just pent up. It's a little bit of betrayal, but it's so much more than that. It's her dad's health, it's her frustration with the program, it's her isolation, it's her own competitive edge. There's such a buildup, and she just explodes. And luckily Glenn and Michael and I rehearsed for a long time for that scene just to make sure we were prepped. I was so impressed by Michael Waldron, who's our creator, and he directed that episode as well. I was so impressed by even the map that he drew of what he wanted our blocking to look like on this bus. We taped in the parking lot. We made a bus out of tape and practiced and blocked it for quite a while before actually filming. And Glenn brought so much to work with and so much support for that scene. And I don't think I could have been propped up better by our director or, Glenn.
That's cool. I didn't know that. That's a fantastic question. Yes. So I think as far as the fear of losing employment, these coaches, these real life coaches, they jump around
Brutal.
So much, and you can be like the golden boy one year, and then your side doesn't perform. On my side, be offensive coordinator the next year, and you're fired. They might have just extended you, and now you have to pick up your entire family, move somewhere else.
Move kids, schools,
yeah,
home.
Yeah, Byrd
everything.
doesn't have kids, but
Season
but
2.
and figure out where you're going to go and pick it up and figure it out. And that's if you pick up your next job. And so I think it's a very valid fear to have that in this cutthroat world, that you just may not be there tomorrow. And so then you get kind of gifted this player out of nowhere when you had no quarterback. You get gifted this player that's just special, truly special on the field and is lifting up your entire team, it's something that, and we have talked about, it's going to be for Byrd, who I think is the most moral of all of them. It's going to be a something he has to figure out if and when he figures out, like, how's he going to approach knowing this and knowing what he knows about this, and are we still going to go with Russ because we are winning, but also, you know what I mean? So I think that's going to be hopefully a beautiful thing that we can go into, and we have such an incredible writer staff, and it is absolutely, as of yesterday, something we're talking about. So.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But I definitely think there's you just as much so will fall in love with that friendship. I think they have a really special, mutually beneficial friendship and that's maybe even more heartbreaking than anything is the fact that she really felt like, because she is, kind of the odd man out often, she felt like she really connected with someone that saw her and believed in her, and that the friendship betrayal is, but there's plenty of places to go from there. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's really fun to play the dynamic because I think these are two people in the real world that would probably never cross over or even like talk to each other. So I think that's like a fun aspect to play. And then the first 3 episodes, I think it is very much like, it felt like student teacher, like you need to do this to get this. But then by the 4th episode, it was really fun to play the switch where I think he really does say it in that one line where he's like, Russ Holiday, the version that you think is this, it's a costume, but like the version that we all see is actually just, a human being with heart. So it was really fun to kind of play that switch up. And then, yeah, by the 6th episode, he's like, this is my friend. It's really funny.
So sweet. Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I think that her heart, as much as she can't stand some of the coach's decisions, she loves him at his core. And Steve and I actually asked on that scene if I could crawl in bed with him in the hospital bed and we could be side by side watching.
That would be
the thing.
so funny.
And me smoking and him like, Tricia, you can't smoke in here. Really blowing it in his face. And they were like, no, just sit on the side. It's okay. But Steve and I are so close that like it's easy to play that because I love him as a human, and I think Tricia really loves him as a coach, even though he's not winning at the moment. Yeah. And then I think realizing when something's about to be taken from you, like a heart attack, that wakes people up to the heart of it.